This is the Ponderous Brick Thinker with a castle update. And the update is, I have a few more ideas for the towers that support the vehicles, as well as the rest of the castle. Which is why I'm taking one good look around it to see where things are for documentation. Since last episode, I added more to the prototype sketch of the tower, and all I did was lower it by one, same design here, down, so that way I also made more vehicles, or at least the structure of them, just to get an idea of where things go. So the seat is right there, and the platform just rotates in there, and then just something visually supporting that it's just not this and all the way down, but it will be on all four sides, and that'll be a little bit upcoming in the episode. So this kind of fixes that idea. This has to retract before the Lego person can go down, and the canopy goes down, and then it'll be able to lift off. As you can see, this one has some different details. I have no idea if I have enough of those 1x4 slopes. And I was also looking at the color, seeing how that works from just kind of here, there's red, all red and some yellow, and all yellow. See what path I want to take. And I want to do a upgrade on this sketch so that it is this on all sides, and I'll be able to see how the vehicles look, how realistic can this be on top of the castle, and go from there. Here's the updated prototype. It's the same on all four sides. So, color-wise, I'm just experimenting with the yellow and the lime green. Not committed to that. And also this, I think I'm gonna be restricted a bit because of the availability of colors. I'll look to see, but I don't think so, but I just have that dark turquoise for this essential component. But I'm still experimenting with color, but here is pretty much the form that I would like for it to take. I did redo some of this bottom work here so that it can be more stable, and this is pretty much needed. Otherwise, it's just a 2x2 supporting all of this, and it could be easily thrown out of whack. Let's see here. And also, I'm still kind of deciding what kind of detail goes there. And this part is essential because otherwise it just helps me put it in there. Otherwise, I have to go in and interfere with the structure, but here I'm good to hold it. And I believe I have not yet shown how I do the share or the seating part. So it is this bracket. Maybe I did, because this kind of is familiar. But I just put it in like this. And then this part this way. And then this part here. So it's like that. This part here will probably be filled in with something, but that part could probably be custom for each character's vehicle, just because some of them have tails, as mentioned before. Or a cape, but more or less, yes. Oh, and the other thing is even though I have this, it can still rotate, which, okay, so it's obviously out of whack. And because of that rotation, it kind of just, there we go. So I'm gonna need to think of other ways of supporting this structure. I'm gonna look in here and see if there's any way of supporting that. And it's gonna be very hard because the bottom part does protrude inward, so I won't be able to use most of this here. Like at this level, there might be a ways because I don't see the flame should be out of the way at that point. But yes, I'm going to look into additional ways of keeping the 2x2s together. And even though I did mention NASA as a launch pad retro look, that's kind of informed me to make these details here. Trying to put more air. I don't think I'll be able to put more air in the 2x2s. And that's why I'm kind of, this is probably as airy as it's going to get. I'm going to need to put a little bit more structure to help keep everything together. Oh, and one more. We'll get with Logan to see, that pretty much is right there. Just one more stud in, I think he'll be good. All right, so that's how the top tower could look. Here is the prototype finished, or at least the shape of it. The colors are going to include the medium azure, which is the main color of the castle. And you might notice there's a large amount of lime green, or more than normal. It's just that that's a color that I have not yet sorted. So I had a bucket ready to go of different sizes, and I was able to kind of just quickly put in pieces as I needed. So I'm seeing this, and I like it. So that's how it is on the inside. Not a lot of room for circulation. For stairs, definitely not stairs or ladders. It is only 4x4 on the inside. And that kind of brings me to the situation, how do the Lego people get up there? And then I realized that this really much resembles the elevators, at least for the Tower of Immersion, where I thought, okay, that's an opportunity to put something simple because I don't have a lot of space to put the stairs or ladders. So I created this, and I thought, okay, it could work. The only thought is the amount of transparent pieces. It's still unknown because then I would have to do it for, it's going to be a large part of the Tower of Action. And I was going to put some of the transparent pieces as the technology for the Tower of Understanding. And then I remembered that I did some sketches of columns, kind of using the main color of the castle, but using other colors to kind of suggest what that area is about. So, using this idea, I can do the edges of the elevator with transparent and multicolor and see how that goes. It is going to need to be a mix because I need to span and secure that because it is still very much just a 2x2 holding a lot. And if it twists, then it could be bad. So it's going to be a mix anyways. Transparent pieces, okay. I have a strategy. But my thought now is with a Tower of Understanding. Does it need the stairs? because that was the first thought when I put this together. It's still a sketch, but to kind of go through the different labs of the different elements, a stair would kind of wrap around it, and it became part of the overall feature of the tower, and it kind of makes it unique. But at the same time, if there's elevators everywhere else, um, why not here? The more technological incorporating tower in the castle. And I think I'm gonna need to do that just so that it can fit with everything else. And so, and documenting what the tower is for future reference because I don't have another castle to kind of sketch out what could that tower look like. It's gonna have to be just recorded and then compare this versus what's gonna come next. Okay, so I think we're ready. As you can see, it was not structurally sound, it was just a sketch, but I think we have what we need. So I just need to figure out where the corners are going to be. Do have this that needs to be removable and go from there. Everything has been reset, at least in this area here. I did place the sketch of a column for the lab where we have earth, water, air, and fire. I will just need to do the four corners, think about the elevator placement, and also where the rooms are going to be for, let's see, what is it? Bees, Quadridge, and maybe Chewbacca. I forgot who the third person was. But as you can see here, the original prototype suffered some damage. And after seeing this, maybe I should not have knocked down the tower when the very recently finished prototype was right there at the edge. So careful with your demolition. A little bit on the elevator. I'm seeing this spot right here. There's nothing that was there in the original or the first sketch, but I could move the stairs that way, make a little bit more room so that I can have the elevator kind of poking out here, and that way kind of incorporate the stairs. I'm not sure what use, if they're still going to be kind of for vertical transport, circulation, or they can be something with the technology. But it's there. I want to keep the stairs there to signify this is the original architecture. And I'm just going to do the four corners on the base here and go from there with the elevator there. Here are the, I call them measuring sticks, just to indicate how high the elevator is going to be, which is practically the height of the tower. So it does fit overall with the rest of the scale. It is the shortest of the three towers. And then I remembered, but not really. This is supposed to be removable. So that means the other two supports for the elevator are going to be part of this removable base. So one thought is, yeah, it can happen. The rest of the elevator can be supported here, and part of it will go away. It's not, this taken away is not for play purposes, it's more for transportation, and there's a high likelihood that I will have to move again before I finish this castle. It just happens. And now, this delicate thing is going to be kind of split in half, or at least half of the support is going to go away when it's time to remove. Now, that could be a problem. The other thought is to maybe build up this side. Have the rooms kind of like this, or even like this, so that can incorporate some strength into these parts here, and this half will support the elevator on this half. So that is one thought. I kind of like this. It's almost like a gateway, even though the trees, these are supposed to be trees, more details forthcoming. It is supposed to be the gateway of the castle. This could be more of the formal architectural, here's the gateway, which, I'm okay with. And again, if I build it here, it is going to be a tall thing, kind of balancing on this space, which is also kind of dangerous. So this is going to have to be removable. So there's things to consider, which that could still be okay. If I build out the elevator at this height, and it's fine to stick to the base because it's not that high and it's really low to the ground, I think that'll be okay. This is supposed to be removable so that the rest of the levels, kind of are safely put away while the base moves. So, same idea, I can have a structure to support the elevator and the rooms, and then those parts are also removable. That means, well, also, since the elevator here and the elevator is really airy, I don't think I'm going to keep it airy on the first level. I'm going to build it out either with transparent pieces, a mix with the new architecture, just so that it's not. Oh, there's an entranceway right through there. Now it's going to be, it should be built out so that way, if it is, it'll have the support necessary for the rest of the elevator and also for the rooms on this side. So if I do build it out, it'll be up to here. I'll probably just remove that. This is still a sketch of the wall. So kind of build this out, have it so that it can support the rooms. The rooms will be removable. And I'm probably going to look at the option of keeping the elevator attached to the rooms or also its own separate takeaway piece. So that way, max removability hopefully will lead to better and safer transportation of pieces. Luckily, nothing has majorly broken. It's still a lot of sketch mode, but because of that, I was able to move the pieces or the parts of the castle without too much destruction. So it's as long as it's not the full height of the tower, I think it's going to be fine to kind of build it up to at least this height. So I'm going to continue sketching the tower just to kind of verify the size of it and where the rooms are going to be before I close the episode. So let's see how that looks. So another sketch emerges. It doesn't have quite the same pizzazz as the other one, but I believe it can get there. It just needs a little bit more detail. And where I'm looking for that detail or for that kind of special identity is that if I can keep the structure to the corners, this will open up the wall in order to look in and see all the technology laboratory stuff going on in there. So that's my hope. Prior, I was having to think about how to support a staircase wrapping around the building that would have limited that ability. But now, depends on how it goes. I think I have an opportunity to have really open it up, but still kind of make it look laboratory-ish. So, this is what has transpired this episode. As for the next step, I would have to think about it. I think I'm going to let this tower be for a while until I think more ideas on how to support it. I do have a path forward regarding the tower supporting the vehicles, but at the same time, I kind of need to build out some of the detail before I start building the tower. And maybe Since I have a definite idea of where the rooms are going to be in this tower, I would probably need to do that for the other towers too. Especially here. This one I suggested it was going to be part of the launch tower, which can happen just at a lower level, and then have the be attached to the elevator. True, that can work. So it's a little bit of more exploration needed to see how this project is going to progress. This has been the Ponderous Brick Thinker. Thank you for stopping by. If you liked the episode, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of this project, go ahead and subscribe and sign up for notifications, and see you next time.